Hello, it's Charles Folkart on October 3rd, 2017. I welcome all of you. Thank you for supporting this channel. And I looked in the back room and I want to thank you for the shares and the likes. I appreciate it. The likes far, far outnumber the the opposite. I appreciate that for you being so positive. Appreciate it. Hey, this video is how's it feel to live in a third world country? How's it feel to live in a third world country? I've been saying for quite a while now, with having lived in 4 third world countries, when I came back to the United States, I could sense from the time I was at the airport on, I landed in LA, Los Angeles, and I looked around me and I said, man, the United States has become a third world country. Yeah, I know there's a lot of people from other countries who land in Los Angeles, but I went out and we live in a third world country, folks. And the first time I went to Mexico, I noticed something there, that they had armed security in front or inside of the major buildings, in the government, in the museum, in the banks, etc. And I said, oh, so this is what a third world country looks like. They have the, Uzis or AK-47s, or, they had automatic, at least semi-automatic weapons. If you've been to Central America, you know what I'm talking about. And then I noticed a few years later that we had the same thing in the United States. We got armed guards everywhere. And just, last night before, we had another shooting here, a mass shooting. And I know most of these mass shootings, if not all of them, are fake. They're hoaxes. They're put on. But our government is so corrupt that it either allows this kind of stuff to happen, or what, if they pulled off 9/11, which I think they did, then it's not too far to come to the conclusion that they're allowing and even causing these shootings. So, and I want to relate to you another glimpse into how the United States works that I got when I was living overseas. I had a friend in Thailand, and he lived in Bangkok, and he lived in Hat Yai, and I lived with him and in his home, and knew him for almost the whole time I was in the country. And I remember once he was working in Bangkok, and I went with him, and I squeezed into the back of the pickup truck, and we were headed down the road and the highway, and we get up there, and the cops have like a checkpoint or a roadblock, and we pull over and we slow down, and people are going through, and I noticed my friend got 100 baht out of the pocket or the drawer in the truck, and he had it in his hand, and they were talking in Thai. I didn't know what they were saying, but they're all friendly, hey, how's it going, blah blah, how's the weather, I don't know what they're talking about, but and my friend Sam slipped the cop 100 baht, about $3. And I looked at that and I go, you know what? That's kind of and and I asked my friend Sam. He spoke pretty good English. He says, well, that's just how we do it here. The cops don't get paid a lot of money, and we, instead of increasing the tax and blah blah blah, that whole thing, we just, as a people, we give them a few bucks every now and again. Everybody's happy. And I got to thinking about that, and I go, you know what? When you get stopped here in the United States, you can't give the police officer a bribe for the most part. I've never heard of it, but they take money from you just like the police do in Bangkok, and they just take more of it. And they're not very kind about it. They're not very friendly about it. And they make up laws, so they, like the seatbelt law, see, or the parking lot, etc. They got 100 different laws that you can break that they can take your money, and they take more than 3 baht. And that's the difference between living in Thailand and living in the United States. I felt freer living there. And Thailand means free land. Now you can say what you want about the Thai people. I think the Thai people, they know how to live. And the upper Thai echelon, the government, and especially the politicians, when I was there, they're just as corrupt as any other country, folks. The only difference between the United States, the corruption in the United States, and the corruption in other parts of the world is that the United States was better at hiding it. They put up more of a hubris and more... we're Americans, and we don't go down on that level. But I remember I was in Bangkok when I first got to Thailand. I was living in Saratani, and there was an operation going on with the military. This would have been in late 1999 or early 2000. A lot of the troops were there, and the ships were out in the Gulf. And the headlines were that Bush was bringing $350 million to give. Going to give it to the Thai government, I guess it was. Remember, right? Who else would they give it to, right? $350 million. And how I read that was, the United States is coming to Thailand with a bribe of $350 million so that we can have our ships here in the area. Okay? They just create the money out of thin air, and then they bring it all over the world, and they buy people with it. And you wonder why the world is so corrupt and the United States is so corrupt. And that was in 1999. So now the government is so corrupt that they don't even try to hide it anymore. They come right out and say, hey, we got $21 trillion of yours, and what are you going to do about it? And what are we going to do about it? Nothing. Nothing. We're going to go to work. We're going to pay the income tax. We're going to slave away. We're going to buy that new truck on credit that we can't afford. We're going to go into debt, because our government is showing us that it's okay to go into debt because nothing's happened to the government so far. And what Americans don't seem to realize is that that debt is coming due. What do you do when you go into debt is you, instead of putting off satisfaction from a good or a service into the future, in other words, you work and you save, and then in the future you buy that good or service. What you do is you borrow the money from the future that you have to pay in the future, and you borrow it. And now you get to buy your good or service right now, and you pay for it later. Well, it's coming to the point where all those IOUs and all that money that we put out there is going to come due, folks. It's going to come due. And guess who's going to pay for it? The government's not going to pay for it. The people who print up and create the fiat currency, the fake money, are not going to pay for what's coming. You're going to pay for what's coming. You're going to pay for what's coming. So, with that in mind, I thought I had lost this. I have been looking for this, and this is the solution part of the video. I thought I had lost this, and what is this? This is a water filter, and I suggest that you have a water filter. And this is a pretty good one. I've had it for quite a while. It fits into a jar, and you can put this in the water, and you pump it, and the water gets purified through the filter here, and you can drink it. It was one of the better filters at the time I bought it. And if you don't get one of those, you at least need to get one of these. I'm going to pause. Alrighty, I'm back. At least get a life straw. I won a whole package of these in a contest with survivalblog.com. I wrote a story on rocket stoves, why you need a rocket stove and how to build your own. But this is part of the prize I got. You put this end in the water, and you draw the water out through the other end. So lightweight, easy to carry, effective. At least you'll be able to get clean water. Life straw. I'm not selling them. I'm just telling you, might be a good idea to get your hands on one or a couple. You don't know what's coming and it doesn't look too good, does it, folks? Okay? But no reason to be afraid. No reason to fear. We have a lot going on our side. We are in the majority still. We have the capacity, we have the ability as a Caucasian race to fight back. These people are clever and they're planning, and we're seem to be scattered all over, but we've got one unifying force, and his name is Yahweh. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting this channel, and may the grace of Yahweh be upon us all, for we certainly need it. See ya.